Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Martlet Games. I am Patrick, your storyteller for this evening, and welcome to episode 4 of our Terminal Black anthology here, Heartless Soul. We have 3 completely new 10 Candles players on screen. And we also have one individual who's making their streaming debut. And this is, I've been meaning to play with Justin for a long time here, so this is a great way to get my fix here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick around the horn intro, and then we will proceed into character creation. So let's start with Steve.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steven Rieger, creative partner at Martlet.
And next up is Justin.
Hey guys, I'm Justin Abel. I'm a friend. So yeah,
that works. And Kat.
I am Kat Smith. Not my streaming debut. You probably saw me on a very silly Vampire the Masquerade game recently.
That was so fun.
Which was fun. And I've never played 10 Candles, and so I look forward to playing.
Mm-hmm. 'Tis the season. So we'll actually go ahead here, and I will read through the module real quick for the audience, and then we will proceed into character creation. So 10 Candles, Episode 4, Heartless Soul. The year is 2099. The subjugated human race cowers in their prisons of metal and stone, desperate for anything in their fight against their inevitable extinction. The mini-Arcos were constructed in the 2060s to protect civilization from the fact it fucked up the planet beyond repair, with deep undercities to house the bulk of humanity and shield them from the growing toxicity on the surface, and rising spires to serve as a means to still gather resources from the outside world. The fact the money and resources traveled up and away from the people who needed it the most wasn't lost on those unfortunate to be trapped below. The Undercity you currently call home rose up against the well-to-dos back in the 50s, and were met with isolation and atrophy as the government of the Arco declared the Undercity lost to sedition and enforced a fatal blockade on anyone trying to reach the surface. Supplies dwindled, and the population suffered as the things they couldn't produce themselves ran out and disease rampaged. Decades of no contact stretched. Then, a few days ago, alarm klaxons blared and the hatches and lifts activated. The blockade separating your world from the sky crumbled, and people from up top swarmed down into the Undercity in a panic. Years of very crucial information slammed into the unaware population, and any semblance of order the Undercity may have had vanished in an instant. Some of the very same parties responsible for the Arcos being built were in league with a race of creatures far beyond our comprehension, and they cracked apart the moon to spread their influence throughout the solar system. The surface world now belongs to them, and the main instrument of our destruction is a strange substance of their design. It takes over anyone or anything it touches, and uses our own polluted atmosphere against us. Neighbor turned upon neighbor, topsiders were murdered in the streets and alleys en masse, and then the lights went out. It has been 3 days, and you have managed to fall in with some other survivors out of mutual defense. But they are coming, and now it is time to move. Your only hope is to get topside, to get to what little light is left to you on the surface, to protect you from them. So your goal, reach the surface. Different points of interest. We have the hydroponics farm, the police station, the checkpoint, maintenance and utility, and various apartment complexes. So basically, just imagine taking all of New York and cramming it underground and having a very limited footprint. And you're packed in there as tight as sardines. That's basically what we're going with here. Urban hell. Okay? So, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to proceed with character creation. Now, I asked tonight's cast to have everything prepared ahead of time, so just to help kind of cut down on how long these sessions have been running. But the way this is going to work is, Steve, you are going to write a virtue for Kat's character. Kat, you're going to write a virtue for Justin. Justin, you'll write a virtue for Steve. Just DM privately in Zoom. Okay? And once everyone's gotten their virtue, give me the thumbs up, and then we will move on to the next portion. Alright, so everyone has exchanged virtues, and now we're going to go ahead and reverse course, and now you are going to exchange vices. So this is a one-word negative noun or adjective that's supposed to, cause more problems than it fixes, but you still use to your character's advantage.
Okay.
Or that their character will use to their advantage, etc. The one that you get will be used for you, etc. I'm rambling.
So this one goes to me and mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Okay, so now everyone is going to come up with their character's moment. This is supposed to be something that when your character achieves, they find hope in the situation. In the book, it's I will find hope when ... So go ahead and fill in the blank there when your character is going to see hope in this particular scenario. Alright, and now comes the fun part. And this is where, as Justin earlier put in our Discord, I get to be the Chaos Goblin here, or the Chaos Demon here. So now I get to participate in character creation. So, in a similar manner with the virtues and vices, you now get to write a brink for your neighbor. Now, for the players here, this is something that your character did when they were at their absolute emotional, psychological rock bottom. They had nothing left to give, and so they had to do this out of an act of desperation to survive. Okay? Now, where I get to play here is I am representing them. And this is something that they saw Mr. Haddonfield do. So they saw his character do what I'm about to send him. Now, Kat gets the fun position of providing a brink for them. That is the way for the players to influence the game world. So this is you can add a characteristic. You can strengthen them. You cannot weaken them any more than they are. They're weak to light. You can't say, oh, silver kills them. You can't pose that as a brink or any other kind of truth during the rest of the game. But this is something that Kat saw them do. And I think it's actually kind of fitting that it's her character that saw them do this. Just because of, yes. I love Gallerina's whole thing. So, I'm going to go ahead, and Steve, yours is coming here momentarily. Alright, so everyone has settled in to their brinks. Now, rules as written states that from here you take these characteristics that have been generated and you build a deck. Okay, this is your character sheet, for lack of a better term. Whatever is on the top, that is what is currently active. You burn virtues and vices to reroll ones. If you can try to achieve your moment, if you succeed with achieving your moment, then you get a hope die. Now, once a virtue or moment, or once a virtue or vice have been used, they are gone. If we were playing around real candles, we would burn them at the table. We're not doing that. So, yes, electric's the way to go. But, now, rules as written states that only one of you may have your moment at the top of the deck. So, is anyone wanting to take the plunge and be the one?
I feel like my hope's probably going to be a little bit later, so okay. I'm not sure if mine's going to hit. All right,
and now this is optional. If you don't want to have your moment on top, you don't have to have your moment on top. But if no one wants the opportunity, you all then go ahead, rearrange your decks as you see fit. That being said, your brink has to be on the bottom. Okay? So remember, that's when you are at your absolute, last leg. When there's nothing left. The brink...
Virtues on top, vices in the middle, and brinks on the bottom.
Well, you could go vice, moment, virtue. You could go virtue, moment, vice. You could go moment, vice, virtue. It's all up to you. There is no right or wrong way to have that set, just so long as your brink is on the bottom.
Yeah, brink's on the bottom. That's fine.
Yep. Okay, so we'll go around how we did previously. We'll start with... excuse me. We'll go ahead. We'll do intros, and this time introducing your character, and we'll start with Steve. So go right ahead, sir.
Hi, everybody. Steven Rieger playing Mr. Haddonfield.
Tell us a little bit about Mr. Haddonfield.
Mr. Haddonfield has been working with the criminal side of the Undercity for a while now, in hopes to find a way to get topside. These past few days has kind of jumbled his mind a little bit on this situation.
It looks like he's had a rough go of it.
Just a little. I haven't slept for 4 days, so...
Rough and tumble. Yep. So, what is Mr. Haddonfield's virtue?
Mr. Haddonfield's virtue is I'm very detailed orientated. I'm very focused on those spots.
Meticulous. I like that.
Meticulous.
I like that. And his vice?
I am a very compulsive person, though.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that as well for Mr. Haddonfield. And how about your moment? When does Mr. Haddonfield find hope?
He's going to find hope when he can pay off that checkpoint person and get himself in there to the top side.
I like that. Okay, next up will be Justin. Go ahead and do your intro again, sir.
Hey, I'm Justin. I'm playing Mikey Shank. My virtue is that I'm very watchful. I look out for the people in the apartment building where I work. I work as a maintenance man there, on more of like a barter system. I set myself up as a big brother type of figure. I look out for the people in my building. But, if something kind of falls into my pocket, I'm a little bit of a kleptomaniac. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve. But I'm extremely protective over the people in my building. In fact, my brink is that...
Oh, no. You don't... Okay. Your moment. Moment. You keep your brink... your brink is...
My brink is mine. My brink is mine. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cheers.
Yeah.
My moment is that I will find hope when I'm able to save another. So my people are mine, and they're very important to me. They're
okay.
If someone is mine, they're mine.
I like that.
I'll do everything I can for them.
Okay. And finally, Kat. Say hi again, Kat.
Hi again. My name is Kat. I am playing Gallerina. She is a mushroom farmer.
Mm-hmm.
So she works with the hydroponic people, but for the most time they don't see her because she's down in the caves underneath, growing mushrooms for food stuff. And nobody really knows what she actually looks like because she wears like heavy cloth and leather that people don't know where the leather comes from.
I love that little detail. What is Gallerina's virtue?
She knows when to be honest, which kind of fits.
Yeah. And her vice?
Detached.
Ooh, that's a bad thing to have in life or death circumstances. That's a really bad vice to have. Ooh. But when will Gallerina find hope?
I will find hope when I know my spore babies are safe and I can spread them around the earth again. If I shall perish, I knowing I might perish be food for my spore babies. That's what I call them. Mushrooms. Mushroom spores. She calls them spore babies.
I like that. And now I get... You have no idea what you have just done. You.
Said, bring it. This is what happens when I say bring it.
Ew.
I might have just ruined it for everybody, but that's fine.
No, you just made the next 2 episodes so much more fun for me to write. Oh, Lord. Anyway.
I have the ideas. You want to play a game, run something? Come for me for ideas. I'll give you them.
Yes. All right, so we're going to dive into it now. We have 10 candles. So we all have, or you all have 10 dice to work with in your communal pool right now. And we will take focus now on this group of 3 individuals. They're huddled around a battery-operated space heater. There's not a lot of active power to be had down below in the Undercity right now. And being this far underground, it gets pretty cold. The city was built with we'll say trying to be as hermetic as possible, as self-contained as possible. Everything gets, even before the blockade got put up back in the 50s, everything was recycled, reused, repurposed. It was just a way of life down below. But then the blockade came up, and then that became a survival skill. And now, after the panic of the survivors from up above crashing through into your homes, there's not a lot of you left. You all hear pockets of conversation out in the dark. You catch faint orange glows from space heaters, thermal units like this. There's people, huddling around some of the geothermal exhaust vents that part of the base draws its power from. but you haven't heard anybody down here for a while, at least in your little section of the Undercity. It's been fairly quiet for about the past 2-3 hours. Now, Mr. Haddonfield, you said earlier you only got 4 hours of sleep previously.
Yeah, for about 4 hours and 4 days.
4 hours and 4 days. How about Mikey? What's Mikey's sleep circumstances looking like?
Better than that. Mr. Haddonfield, if you need to rest, I'll watch over you. Go ahead. Get some rack time.
This time. Not this time. I'll be able to make it. He leans over and takes a little white pill and a swig of beer. And
yeah, the beer, you can't grow wheat.
It's not. Yeah, I can't get yeast. It's whatever.
Well,
it's whatever nasty liquid I could find that can be tolerated.
Well, Gallerina knows where you're getting the wort to make the beer, because Gallerina helps grow it. Mushroom beer is
mushroom ale
is a thing. It's you would probably be much rather drinking from the oil recycler in maintenance, but it does the job.
I'm not happy doing it, but yeah, at this point in time.
So, how about Gallerina? How much sleep has Gallerina gotten in the past couple of days?
Oh, night's rest. She knows where to get away to hide.
Oh.
In fact, she's standing pretty far away from the battery heater. Like, the light bothers her.
Okay. So she's is she mostly hanging around the group out of we'll say convenience, or what?
Yeah, she is.
At least for now. Maybe we can go into some ulterior motives later. But yeah. So you've all taken stock of things. Water, the recyclers were in bad shape. You all know that anything that's going to come out of any spigots or faucets or taps here, it's going to be brackish. It's going to be disgusting.
Needs to be boiled several times.
Mm-hmm.
And all we got is a space heater.
Mm-hmm. You can't.
That's why we're drinking mushroom beer.
Mm-hmm. And you can't really have a fire down here because, there's nothing really, circulating and filtering the air out. So the smoke would be causing a problem. There is definitely some passive, oxygen exchange here and there. I would say in the past couple of episodes, we'll say the air circulation being a problem. That's kind of old hat now. So we're gonna just say that's not going to be an issue this episode. we're gonna have other fucked up fun with you all, but. So yeah, the water circumstances are not good. Food, Gallerina, you know where the food's at, but as far as like how much is available for the other two remains to be seen. So I think we could open this up with the three of you just having a conversation after taking the final tally of how much actual good drinking water you all have left. We'll say time has kind of lost all of its meaning here, but we can say we'll say it's arbitrarily, at least among your group, 9 p.m.
Well, we're fucked.
I don't see it that way.
No water, barely any food. We're sitting ducks.
Gallerina, would it be possible for us to get back down to the mushroom farms. We'd be able to collect some more water down there, collect some more mushrooms, and then regroup to get back to at least have food and water, and then be able to try to get back up towards the surface after that.
Possibly.
I have a plan for the surface, but first, that does sound like a good idea of getting the necessities that we need right now.
Okay.
Once we have that, I have a plan. I was ultimately going to find my way up before all this shit started. Everybody has a price. And I'm sure whoever's still watching that latch up top, who probably don't want us to go through anyway still, has a price. If we can get into one of these banks, get one of those hard drives of crypto, there ain't shit going on anymore.
It seems like crypto is not a good thing anymore.
Well, whatever materials we can find that would be of some use at this time.
My spore babies are.
That is true. And as of right now, the first necessity is food, since everything's gone crazy. How about we mix plan A and plan B together just to make sure we cover all our bases?
Plan C. Combination of both. I like it.
Okay. I look around. Is there any furniture? Table?
Is there?
Yes, absolutely there will be. Because we're in a great room that's easy to defend. There wouldn't be any way that we wouldn't be in a room that's easy to defend.
Oh, way to dodge that. Oh, good dodge, Justin.
Guess who watched the first episode?
You ass.
I did not watch the first episode. I wanted to watch it all when it goes live. I'm surprised.
Yeah, just I as an aside for those watching, I made sure to have the super long unedited version of the first episode available so everyone could have a primer. Yeah, Justin watched the first episode. Okay. I see how okay, we're gonna have fun here. All right. So yeah, there's furniture.
Mikey, I owe you. But I don't think we're coming back to this place after we're done.
Oh, no. Just to fortify this place long enough to get a little bit of rest, regain our strength long enough to move on.
I flip the table over and I rip a leg off. I try to keep as much nail in hardware in that base.
Well, now you're going to roll those dice. Roll me 10 dice, please, Mr. Haddonfield.
Hammer. Hammer. Wrench.
Successes are.
All right, so I only care about 6s and 1s.
We have 2 6s and 0 1s.
Okay, so now you can finish narrating. You do successfully, obtain your material. We'll say item get here. So go ahead. You can narrate that out, and it's your scene until we have some more fun.
Gotcha. I start ripping all the legs off and I start handing them out. Guns are too quiet. Guns are too loud. We're going to need some improv stuff. Trust no one.
All right. You can have the wood. I'm a handyman. This was my building. I'm going to keep a couple of hammers.
Okay. Then I'm taking 2. Find a way to strap it on my back.
All right, so the intent here is to go down to the mushroom farms, gather some already harvested mushrooms and some spore cultures for bribing the checkpoint guard, and also trying to obtain some water. All right, so Gallerina, you know the way down.
I don't need any light to find my way down.
No. So you're kind of in the lead. Mikey and Mr. Haddonfield, you do have, a decent flashlight, which is still perfectly working right now at this point in time. Now, you've all heard, along with all of the rumors about what exactly happened up top, you've heard rumors of something called a drone, which sounds almost like something out of one of those old classic horror movies. Almost like a zombie. But apparently this black substance that they control, that they use, kills whatever living thing comes into contact with it and then turns it into something that they can use. And you definitely hear something shuffling back behind you as you all make your trip down. This area had been relatively quiet, and as far as you all knew, you were the last 3 down here in this section, alive anyway. But unless anyone was going to want to take a look at the moving sounds behind you, we'll go ahead and we'll reach the mushroom farm.
Leading them down there.
I'll shine my lights.
Okay.
Oh, to behind us to the sound.
Okay. Roll me some dice, please.
Goodness. Nada.
No 6s, no 1s.
2s, 3s, 4s, 5s.
All right. So that ends our first scene. We are down to our 9th candle.
Oh.
All right. Here we go. We're swinging for the fences right from the get-go. I like this. All right.
Oops.
So
sorry, guys.
So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to narrate the end of the scene here, and then we will proceed with telling our truths, which is how we continue the narrative as a group collectively. Okay, so I've actually got that scratch pad ready to go. All right. So, Mr. Haddonfield, that noise sounds awfully close. And, maybe it's your line of work. It's gotten you, used to certain things, especially when you're down here in the dark, secluded, alone. This is where you do some of your best work, after all. But you turn around and your flashlight beam falls upon a multitude of people crowding the corridor behind you. It is wall-to-wall flesh, and you all see this strange black substance just sticking out of their bodies like leaves or flower petals almost. But the substance is pretty thin, about as wide around as a man's hand. But the stuff chips and breaks off as these bodies trudge forward. You can hear it crunch, crunch, crunch. And they all just keep marching forward silently. And now we will speak our truths. this part of the game, as I said, is where we start with moving the narrative forward. So we speak the total number of truths as total number of candles lit, with the first truth being this much is true, the world is dark. And now for the next truth, since Steve, you were the one who failed the roll, we'll let you speak the first truth.
So the first truth is the world is dark.
Yep. And then so you get the next one.
The next truth. We're outnumbered.
It's an understatement. All three of you recognize the faces of people who you know to have recently died.
Another truth. I'd rather sacrifice somebody now and save my spore babies immediately.
Okay. All right, so you can do that. Yep, you can establish character motivation with the truth as well. That kind of tips your hand as far as what your character intends on doing. It also helps us all tell a more collaborative story.
Yes.
Yes.
They're very slow.
Okay.
Like, at a regular walking pace, we can get away from them easily.
Okay. And you know what? Speed for the drones has not been properly established yet, so this is good. Thank you for the material. So Steve, you are up next. Mr. Haddonfield.
I don't know if that's a good one. The black mass looks organic.
It's part organic, part mineral. I have certain established truths for this substance that's already kind of like canon. So
Gotcha.
If something that you want to suggest as a truth runs counter to something that's I have already established, I will tell you to try a different one, or I'll provide a suggestion on how you could rephrase. Okay.
Gotcha. So that is set. Could a truth be we need to find a way to kill them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Due to the growth of the, for point of reference, the black substance we can just refer to as the vector for now. Okay. Just because that was a term that we've used in another episode. We can say that the vector here, when it comes into contact with basically anything, it starts a chain reaction to where it just kind of like spreads. Okay. Now because of how jam-packed these drones are in this hallway, the group will not be able to get out this way.
Playing off of Mr. Haddonfield's, well, and from my knowledge, that how I grow my mushrooms are usually reuse things.
Okay.
To try to do the one thing that I think would work. Because they're essentially walking corpses.
Oh, okay. You want to try that? You want to try that? Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
The drones are easily pooled.
Okay, that works. All right, and to close out the ritual, like the last kind of resolution for this is those of you who are still alive all say we are still alive. Okay, and I have a way to conduct this, but it's basically 1, 2, 3, and we
are still alive.
There we are, right out of the gate. All right, so we pick the scene back up. Dice pool is reset to 9 dice. I now have 1 die to try to challenge for narrative control. I win on ties. Now, Mr. Haddonfield's flashlight dances across the faces of the drones. They're slow, but they're relentless. One slow, trudging step at a time. Crunch. Crunch. How are we gonna proceed here?
I tap Mikey on the shoulder. We gotta move. And I point back to what I saw.
Holy shit. Gallerina, how far are we?
Not that far, and I know a tunnel to take that will cut us off from them.
Excellent. Let's go.
All right, so Gallerina, it's kind of a panicky situation. I want you to go ahead and let's make sure that you can keep your tunnel straight. Now, roll me 9 dice, please.
D6s?
D6s, and I only need to know if you rolled a 6 or a 1, and how many of each.
4 6s. 4 6s and a 1.
Okay, so you have a choice to make here. You can either sacrifice that 1 that you just rolled, that goes away, and then you are now left with 8 dice. Or if you have your virtue or vice on the top, you can burn that to re-roll that 1. Game theory here would say you would probably want to burn the 1 and save your virtue or vice for something a little more meaningful. But
yeah, I'm just gonna burn.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get rid of that dice.
Okay. All right. So you all now have 8 dice in your communal pool, and Gallerina, you have narrative control of the situation. I cannot challenge, so take us down to the mushroom farm. Go ahead and tell us a little bit of the trek here.
You're essentially going to have to start crouching down to get down through the tunnels. It's not a it's kind of a wider fit, but it's not a super tight fit. But you have to crouch down to get down into there. To say if the drones can actually do that when they're following us. And see, the thing is, I'm doing this without any light. You can't see what I'm doing. You have your light on, and you're like, how is she getting down there without any light?
Who's behind her? All right, Justin, roll 8 dice to make sure that you can actually keep track of her.
I'm completely lost with 2 1s and no 6s.
All right, so what do you got on top?
My vice.
Your vice. If you want to go ahead and burn that to re-roll those 2 1s, I personally would recommend it, but that's ultimately your call.
I don't know how I could do that as a kleptomaniac, but okay.
I've got a narrative feed here for you if you want.
I could smell the weird leather of her that she was wearing, and I was trying to find a way to get more of that.
Okay. Yeah, you want some of that leather. You know, that's actually maybe a personal souvenir or memento, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or whatever your motivation for wanting more of that. Would that fly with you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and re-roll those 2 1s then. Let's see what happens.
So, Pat, how do you like that narrative control?
Okay. So is the scene done?
Yeah. Just failure, not 1s.
Okay. So no 6s at all.
No 6s.
Okay.
Just failure.
Okay. So the scene ends with Mikey losing track of Gallerina. Gallerina, you have to get back to your babies. You've been gone far too long, and you really don't care about the other 2. We've established that. You don't care. Your work down here is more important than anything else with 2 legs. Yep. Or more than 2 legs, depending on the circumstances. You never know. But, Mikey, maybe you're calling out for her to stop, but she just keeps on going. She takes a left, and you don't catch it. You just see a blur of cloth, and she disappears, and you are stuck behind. And Mr. Haddonfield is unfortunately behind you in the tunnel, so now he is also lost. And now let me go ahead and switch down to 8 candles. And get my scratch pad going now. This much is true. The world is dark. Justin, Mikey, you have the first truth.
The world. There are other exits to these tunnels.
Okay.
The Horde's mass is too great for these tunnels.
Okay. Mikey, your hands are really itchy right now. Like, really itchy. They almost sting. That's my truth.
Here. What are those 3? I purposely lost them.
One of the tunnels that we're gonna come out at leads to a water treatment plant.
Okay.
That's active.
And you can actually make that your truth. You escape the tunnels to a water treatment facility. That works. That's a perfect truth. Okay.
The tunnels are collapsing. That mass is not fitting, and they're going to cause some issues in that tunnels.
That tunnel.
And to close out the ritual, 1, 2, 3, and
we are still alive.
There we are. Okay, so we know where Mikey and Mr. Haddonfield ended up at. We're going to put a pin in those two right now. And Gallerina, you emerge in the deepest part of the mushroom farms. This part isn't actually on any of the drafts, any of the blueprints. This was something that, in your own time, bit by bit, you dug out yourself by hand, using tools. Maybe some of your spores aided the process. But down here is where this is the heart of your operation, so to speak. And the brain, and the arms, and the legs. How has Gallerina been growing her food down here?
Dead bodies.
Mm-hmm. How long has Gallerina been growing her special spore babies this way?
I'm not gonna get disgusting, but brains.
Well, can we say? I mean, as far as like the length of time, can we say that maybe she's been doing this like well before the shit hit the fan here?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 But you're standing here. Maybe some of your more unique specimens, maybe they have a name.
Mm-hmm.
But
just like human names, she like, this is Ted, this is Bill, this is Bill and Ted. She watched a movie a long time ago when she was a little kid. It was called Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure. Those names have stuck with her.
It's a vintage classic.
It's a vintage classic.
It's a vintage classic. But
like Rufus is over here,
and it's Rufus is actually singing to you the loudest.
mm-hmm.
but he's singing to you a song of longing. Rufus misses his brothers and sisters, and he's singing. He's singing a song that doesn't even have words in your mind. It's you've come to know your spore babies, and they've come to know you, and they have a way of singing to you. But now that they've come, the singing has gotten louder.
I'm going to see if when I bring him over to his brother and sisters, he gets quieter. But if they all start singing together, I'm going to see if I can release them down the tunnels.
Roll the dice. 8 dice.
8 dice?
8 dice.
I'm at my dice box. Oh, there it is. Oh, 8 dice. Sit on map. So. 2 ones.
2 ones, no 6s?
No 6s.
Alright, are you going to burn a card to re-roll those ones? Keep the scene going?
I'm going to burn my virtue because it's not fitting with me.
Okay. What is your virtue?
You know when to be honest.
Oh. Okay. Tell you what. Why don't you re-roll those 2 ones? Let's see if you pass first.
Nope.
Nope.
Just a fail.
Okay.
No 6s.
Alright, so your virtue's gone. Okay. Alright, so you go and which one were you wanting to try to release first?
When I stuck Rufus with Bill and Ted, because these are like the ones that have been growing the longest, I have some other ones that are like Rosemary and Sydney. They are very small, but I want to see what Rufus, Bill, and Ted do all together.
Okay.
So Rufus first, and Bill, and then
Gotcha.
Ted.
Okay. So you put Rufus down, and the singing stops. And maybe part of you feels bad about misleading those two, but then no, never. And it's then that you notice that the mushrooms, Bill, Ted, and Rufus, are actually starting to change, and their coloration is changing. They're growing. The specimens should have reached their full potential growth, but they're growing, and their tops are getting fat and heavy. And now we will go ahead and move on to the next scene with 7 candles, and that means that we will start by speaking our truths. Gallerina, since you failed, you get the first truth.
Well, I didn't.
Well, the world is dark, and then, then it's...
World is dark, yeah. World is dark. And I welcome the darkness.
And you welcome the... Oh. Okay. Okay, Justin, Mikey, you get the third truth.
Well, this water treatment plant is amazingly untouched, completely operational. Yeah,
Pristine.
Lights are on, pristine, operational. It's just abandoned.
Okay. Mr. Haddonfield, you get truth 4.
The path to the checkpoint is shorter now. From where we landed, we are closer to the checkpoint.
Okay. The water treatment plant is the last safe haven that Mikey and Mr. Haddonfield will know before they die.
I welcome the next evolution that Rufus, Bill, and Ted will bring.
I see all the chemicals to treat the water for the plant that were just shipped before everything happened. So it's already there to treat the water here.
Okay, it's fully stocked. I like that. The fully stocked, pristine. This is the safe room before the final boss fight. I like this. All right, and now to close out the ritual, 1, 2, 3. We are still
alive.
All right. Okay, so we're on to candle 7. The world continues to grow dark as Gallerina has scuttled off with her three most prized children. Mikey and Mr. Haddonfield are here in this water treatment facility, and I think maybe they both need some time to decompress what just happened to the two of them.
And the tunnel that we just came through collapsed. Is that correct, Mr. Haddonfield?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I say we bar the door, take a breather. How's that sound?
I think it's better than the hellhole we just came from.
Absolutely.
So I think I'm going to take that.
I'll be nice and not make you roll to secure the room. I'll give you this scene. You guys have some fun here.
And my hands are gross and they itch. So we're in a very clean place. So I'm going to clean up.
Sounds like a plan. What the shit was that back there? Where did she go? Is she with you?
Storyteller?
Yes.
The brink that I saw, can I communicate?
Yes, you may.
Okay. She was with me. She was working in the mushroom farm. I thought she was with us. She's crazy. I think she's a witch. I don't know what's going on. I saw her doing some kind of ritual. I think she was talking to them. Her plant mushroom overlords. I don't know what the hell's going on.
So, let me get this straight. I'm putting my trust into you, who put their trust into her to get mushrooms.
I was watching. I was keeping an eye on shit. Keeping an eye on things.
We don't have the time. We're alive. Let's get some fucking nourishment and figure out how we're getting out of here. No more mushrooms. I guess we're going to a bank.
I'm not let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get hydrated. And then let's poison the water supply. Then let's get the fuck out of here.
Take some of the chemicals with you. I don't know what the fuck will kill this thing. I have no problem throwing bleach on chloride on something that might do something.
We have books.
I don't know how much they're going to help.
There would be chlorine, and the cleaning supplies make bleach. That sounds like a mess.
It does. Storyteller, do I see any chemicals that have flammable on them?
There would be. And for a water treatment facility, there are all sorts of chemicals with names that I couldn't even begin to pronounce. And I consider myself a relatively smart individual. So, yes, that's also a gimme. That is also a gimme, yes.
Okay. I'm going to start collecting flammable concoctions and finding fabric.
Okay. All right, so now
Cocktails.
Molotov cocktails, yeah, that's
Got it.
not a bad idea. All right, so Mikey, we're gonna address your hands here for a moment because you are wanting to clean them. Because now that you have the chance to actually examine what's going on, you're no longer in immediate threat of your life. You're taking a look, and you can see that there's little green and purple splotches forming around different scrapes and scratches that you would have picked up crawling through the tunnels. If you're wanting to go ahead and clean these, try to get rid of this crap, you're going to have to roll me some dice. 7 dice.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
Sixes.
That sounds like a wonderful idea. Let's go ahead and do that.
Mm-hmm.
How fast is this proceeding? The infection.
You're just now starting to notice it. It's nothing like I wouldn't like. We better take care of this now before this actually becomes a problem.
Okay. And before I roll, I'm looking around because this place is completely very well stocked. I'm going to find the first aid kit that there will be there, and in that first aid kit there is obviously some sort of for like chemical burns and whatnot, some kind of
I gotcha.
Brush thing. So
Yep.
I'm gonna give it the old 1-2.
Okay.
So would that give any kind of bonus? I don't know.
No.
About the thing. So
No, there is no
worth a
such
try.
thing as bonuses in 10 candles.
It was worth a try.
It's nice of you to try. Yeah.
There's a 1 and a 6.
All right. Are you going to let that one go?
Will the 6 makes it a success? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, you still succeed. Okay.
But for the rest of the scene,
well, it's just whether or not if you don't want to burn your virtue or vice or to re-roll that one, that one is removed from the communal pool, and then the scene would proceed with 6 dice. I then have the opportunity to roll the 3 dice that I have in my pool to challenge her narrative control.
I say the 1 die is okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we now have a communal pool of 6 going forward. You scored 1 success. I'm going to roll 3 dice. Let's see what happens. It is your scene. Go ahead, narrate it.
So it was really easy to get get my hands all cleaned up, and I was able to also help Mr. Haddonfield get his wounds the rest of the way cleaned up, because he was able to just get like a quick little patch job when he first got to our hideout. So the two of us are back on. Our health meter is most of the way tapped out.
Gotcha. Now, Mr. Haddonfield, you're trying to rig together some of these Molotovs. I mean, you're not working in ideal conditions. Low light. Someone's got to hold the flashlight while you're working on this. Go ahead and roll. Let's see what happens here. You have 6 dice to craft Molotov.
3 6s, 0 1s.
Okay, I'm gonna try to tie. It is your scene.
Okay. I will find, along my search, I will find about 6 canisters, good-sized canisters with a nozzle there. The supplies were actually sat right next to a employee outfits, change of clothing, locker room. There we go. So not only was I able to find something for rags, but a lighter that was left over in the locker and a duffel bag.
In the duffel bag, was there, or near the employee area, was there maybe like a styrofoam cooler that someone left? Or is that pushing the luck to look for that?
That's
story-wise, I was going to say, I don't
luck.
think I'd find... Mm-hmm. If I was next to the kitchen, maybe, but I called locker room. So.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this area is pristine for a reason. This was like a backup area that's not really used.
Fair enough.
And then so Mr. Haddonfield, you've put together a pretty decent haul here. All right, you've got you're feeling fairly confident that you can make a run at this, or at least this is as good a run as you're going to be able to make. But I don't know, were there any last minute conversations you all wanted to have before you decided to poison the water supply and head out?
Fucking let it burn. Just start pouring the shit in. Every chemical. Every chemical.
All right.
Open the door first, so that when the fumes start piling up, we're not going to get knocked out.
Okay.
Good call.
So,
all right. You open the door, and there's no one on the other side. Everything seems fine. It's dark. It's quiet. More importantly, it's quiet. You know what? Let's do something goofy. The two of you are kind of like co-pouring this. Why don't the 3 of you each roll 3 dice? Let's have some fun with it.
You want me to tell you what it is?
Oh no, just these 2, just Mikey and Mr. Haddonfield. You're fine.
Oh, you said 3.
I misspoke. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was like, I'm all ready for this. Nope, not happening. That's fine. If they blow themselves up, that'll be entertaining.
1 6, 0 1s.
Okay.
2 2 4.
Okay, so 1 success. It is my scene, however. Unless you want to sacrifice a candle to regain narrative control. That will end the scene, though. But it will give you the opportunity to end the scene on the note that you want to end it on. Bear in mind, you're gonna fucking die. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Our truth now is that this is our last point of safety.
That is correct.
So I say we burn the candle. We kill the candle.
Okay. All right. So
we're dead soon.
Yep. All right. So we'll go here. What we'll do then is here's what we'll do. I'll have us speak our truths first. Okay, and that will give you the opportunity to maybe have some fun with what you're little job here did. Okay, and then we can you can narrate going forward, and then I will find a spot to pick up Gallerina. I'm a Pet Scott fan. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I say Gallerina. I'm sorry. So if that's copacetic with the group, if that's fine. I like switching it up every once in a while. I like doing some fun, out of the book kind of stuff.
Questions to Storyteller, and I was distracted. My brain did things. Did they drink any of the water?
Before we
dumped the chemicals in.
Yeah. They would have hydrated beforehand. Yeah. So now, and also we have to remember, because I see that sinister look on your eye there, Kat. We have to remember that this room was pristine and unsullied and unspoilt. So this much is true. The world is dark. Steve, I will let you go ahead and take the first truth here, or the second truth, technically.
Okay. The nearby bank is abandoned.
Upon her travels, Gallerina encounters another pack of drones.
The drones bypassed me.
The chemicals we put in the water is caustic to them.
To them? Okay. I like that. And Mr. Haddonfield has the last truth for this candle. Or for this scene.
The spore babies will join them.
I think we all kind of saw that one coming anyway, but this sets a very firm trajectory going forward, though, and that's actually another good part about 10 Candles, is that sometimes you have more fun screwing yourself over.
I'm not sorry for happens with the other players from this point on or happen in the next 2 games.
And we're going to go ahead and proceed with our 6th candle. Mr. Haddonfield decided to sacrifice a candle because he didn't want me taking narrative control. So, Mr. Haddonfield, you want to go ahead and narrate for us then how you go about the rest of your business. What are you doing now after you've poisoned the water?
We have poisoned the water, and we are now walking down the dark streets, cautiously paying attention to what's going on. Eyes front, making sure we're checking our sides, making sure we're checking behind us. Mm-hmm. And we are moving towards a bank, which is going to be down the road, mm-hmm. Past a few buildings there. I'm going to assume this is going to be like a agricultural
commercial
credit union, mm-hmm. commercial credit union.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go in, and I'm assuming with all the electricity out and such like that, the timed locks for the vaults have popped open without anybody turning them. So I think we should go through the safe deposit box vault first.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have you take care of that here in a moment. We need to catch back up with Gallerina. So, Gallerina has been wandering in the dark, wandering the tunnels, listening to Rufus Rufus is the one who's doing most of the talking. But he's telling you, turn left, turn right, straight ahead. Now, was that how Rufus sounded before, or has he always sounded this way? You're muted.
He sounded this way. He's always sounded this way.
He's always sounded that way.
Deep, dark voice and...
Okay.
Kind of creepy.
Now...
Doesn't bother her.
Where has Rufus been leading you? Where does Gallerina end up after all of her wandering in the dark, listening to her mushrooms?
She ends up in the same area that Mr. Haddonfield and Mikey are at.
Okay. So I would say, so Mikey and Mr. Haddonfield, the two of you are standing there in the lobby of this bank, trying to deliberate what your next move is, when you see Gallerina slink out from the shadows and cut across the street to maybe work into an alley next to the bank.
Do you see that?
Yes, I did.
Excellent.
So the two of you are going to leave Gallerina to her wandering?
Gonna keep an ear on. Gonna listen for things, but we need to get the payment for the gate guard so we can attempt to get out.
Okay. I will look for something valuable and see if there's something else that's down here. You keep an eye out. Yell if something happens. I look around the bank. There's an entrance. There's an entrance.
All right.
Keep an eye on both.
Okay, so Mr. Haddonfield, go ahead and roll for searching the bank here. You have 6 dice.
Four 6s.
I technically can try to get control. And that was a fool's errand. It is your scene.
Okay. So as I'm going through here, I'm staying away from any checks, any deposits. We're looking for cold hard cash, jewelry, stones, and we find a decent amount of stuff that we think will work for getting out of the checkpoints.
Okay.
As I'm going through the safe deposit boxes, I will come across a pistol that has been in a safe deposit box.
Okay.
And I will take that, make sure Mikey is looking at the other places, and keep that for myself.
Mm. Are you trying to be sneaky about hiding the gun?
Just kind of like look to make sure nobody's really looking at me, and then just grab it. So I mean,
okay, all right. So Gallerina, you've, as I said, you were kind of wandering into that other alley, and you hear the ruckus going on as Mr. Haddonfield is going through all of these safe deposit boxes. Well, what's Gallerina's intent here with this?
I asked you a question,
Oh.
storyteller.
You did not. That was mine. You wrote mine.
Oh, that was yours.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure who I was writing the brink for, so I had to ask a question.
Nope. Yeah, you wrote that. Yeah, you wrote that for them. Okay.
For them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this is good. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. So, you do hear Mr. Haddonfield rummaging around here.
Now, is Bill or Ted talking at all?
Roll and tell me. 6 dice.
6 dice. Okay, hang on a minute. Question. How many do I have in here? Count. That is 6 dice. A 6 and a 1.
6 and a 1. Okay. Are you going to let that 1 go away? Are you gonna burn your vice for that?
Oh no. I'm
No?
gonna let that one go away.
Okay. So there will be 5 dice continuing forward with the pool here. And I get to roll to challenge. You had 1 success. Oh, and that is totally my scene.
I look forward to the chaos.
So Bill and Ted actually speak to you with the same voice, except Bill is deeper, Ted is higher, but it's the same timbre, same voice. We would like to play with your new friends that you've made. Can you have us say hi to them?
Yes, and they're big, and they're about to lose their spores.
And are you going to be sneaky about trying to get into the bank, or are you just gonna be like nonchalantly strolling in?
The second one.
The second one, nonchalantly strolling in. All right, Mikey, you see Gallerina just appear in the doorframe while Mr. Haddonfield's doing his work.
I'd call out to him, let him know that, hey, Gallerina's here. She's looking. She's got her babies, and it doesn't look like a good time.
I walk out of the vault and I shoot her.
Just, no preamble, just walk out and blam. Okay. 6 dice. Or no,
I'm not
5.
playing games. I've been
5 dice. Now, there's nothing in rules as written for conflicts between players. So the way that this works is Mr. Haddonfield is going to roll to shoot. It is my job as the storyteller to challenge for narrative control, to advocate for the player who cannot roll to challenge. Or to, since there's no, challenge in place. So 5 dice.
two 6s.
All right, so here's what happened. I didn't roll any successes, but I really want this scene. So it is my obligation as the storyteller to burn their brink to re-roll my whole die pool. Their brink is Gallerina saw them take her babies and she wants them back. So I'm going to roll my pool. Motherfucker. All right. Steve, you can go ahead and you can narrate shooting Gallerina. Okay? I've got this, though. Don't worry. Yeah, but you can narrate. You successfully shot her, and you can narrate, the scene going forward. Go ahead.
Gotcha. So, as a person of organized crime and of being driven by mushroom beer and amphetamines for the past 4 days, I do not say a single word. I pull out and I fire and connect with Gallerina. This is for my own role. I will hit in the torso. So it's not a instant kill. And without hesitation, I grab Mikey by the hoodie and start charging towards the other way.
Okay. All right, that works. So, Gallerina. The only thing that matters is the fact that Bill and Ted have been telling you that they need to say hi to your new friends. You love and you care for your babies, and you do what any dutiful mother would, and you bring them over to introduce them. You don't really hear Mikey tell Haddonfield that you were there. You don't hear the gunshot. You feel, though, there's a sharp pain, not quite center mass, maybe in your solar plexus, from something entering your body. And you look down, you're holding your babies, and you see where the bullet actually shot right through Rufus's cap and set off a spore cloud. This isn't any spore cloud, though, that Gallerina has ever seen. She didn't know what exactly was going to happen with her babies, but they came for them. Gallerina wanted nothing to do with them. She wants her babies back. And now Rufus has let loose this plume of it's a mixture of the white misty poof of spores that you were anticipating, but interspersed with this as the lights from their flashlights bouncing over across you illuminates the cloud, and you see little reflective black specks floating within the spore cloud. And Mikey and Haddonfield leave, but the spores settle over you. and you get a new sensation to go along with the pain from the hole in your chest as the spores settle into your skin and you feel that black substance start to sprout and dig, looking for the nutrients in your bloodstream and your skeletal system. But you hear a new voice in your head. It's not Rufus. It's not Bill. It's not Ted. But this is the voice that you heard when you saw them take your babies. You have a choice. Yes or no, Gallerina?
Yes. My body will feed my babies some mushrooms.
Very well. And then the spores start to sprout the actual mushrooms. The cloth and the leather that you typically cover yourself in, that hole through your covering was all that the spores needed.
Uh-huh.
And the sprouting black shards of vector shred through your clothing. Where do you want to go next, Gallerina?
Follow them. Because Bill and Ted still wanted to meet them.
Okay.
That was one of the last things in her brain.
Roll me 5 dice, Gallerina.
Once. Bleep bleel.
2 1s. Did you want to go ahead and burn?
I want to burn my vice. I don't need it anymore. I'm dead.
No, you're not.
Oh, I'm not
No,
dead.
you're not.
Well, can I burn my brink? That's the end.
Well, not yet. Not yet. But your vice, which was what?
Detached.
Yeah, you know what? You can just surrender that piece of yourself now.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. But go ahead. You can re-roll those 2 1s.
I'm not working on this here. 6.
You got a 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other one was a 3, so.
It's your scene, Gallerina. You can narrate them following you, or narrate you following them.
Bill and Ted are still talking to me. They're like, we want to meet your new friends. We do. I'm like, hush, hush. Rufus is doing his job. He's changing the vector. I'm just going to follow them stealthily this time.
So where's Mr. Haddonfield and Mikey running off to? Mikey, you just saw Mr. Haddonfield shoot Gallerina with no thought whatsoever.
Okay, no. What I saw is Mr. Haddonfield try to protect himself and me from the witch who is trying to use us as part of her weird them ritual.
Okay. That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah. And as far as I know, Mr. Haddonfield and I are trying to head to the exit. So
were you gonna head towards the checkpoint, do you think, then?
That's last I knew, that was the next stop.
Mr. Haddonfield is stone quiet, and he is marching towards the checkpoints.
Let's see how quiet you are. Now, you did not lose any dice on that roll there, Gallerina, if I recall correctly. So that's 5 dice still for you. Yep. For Steve.
2 6s and 1 1.
You gonna let the 1 go?
I'm going to burn my virtue.
Okay.
I no longer am very detailed in what I'm doing. I'm starting to kind of lose it. Sleep deprived, just shot a person. Yeah. We're not planning anymore. We're just walking.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and re-roll those 1s there.
Sweet. That clears my 1s. I have 2 6s still.
2 6s and no 1s total?
No 1s.
No 1s. All right. So the pool is still 5. Okay. And that is your scene.
Okay. So we're walking and we find ourselves at storyteller, how do you want us to make it topside? Since we're in the under, I'm assuming that there has to be some kind of elevator or fire.
Yes,
there's some kind of towering walkway or something.
There's as far as the building is constructed, there's essentially one main lift that connects the Undercity to the top side, and that is excuse me. There is a security checkpoint established on the Undercity side. You have no idea what it's like up top, and you haven't been around the checkpoint here for a minute, so at least not since the lights went out. So you have no idea what's going on right now here. So
gotcha.
Yeah, you can definitely narrate your way up to the checkpoint.
Okay. We're walking through. I keep on looking at the bank hall that we have here. I'm just staring at it, and I'm looking at that checkpoint. Because this is me coming to my moment.
While Haddonfield's doing this, I'm going to try to keep an eye out for behind us.
Roll 5 dice for me, please.
1 6, no 1s.
Okay. Oh, that's totally my scene. Sorry.
Crotch.
All right, so you take a look behind you. You're trying to, like, I would imagine here that this corridor, I mean, it's more of a boulevard here. Like, this is the main central focal point for the Undercity as far as its contact up top. So that, I mean, this is a very much a wide open space. And then there's going to be the security checkpoint is going to be like sandbags and other kinds of, concrete barrier, chain link fence, barbed wire fence, that kind of stuff. Okay. But there's still like shop, storefronts and other things here in this area. And you don't see anything behind you. You smell something instead. And it's a pungent odor. if you've ever left a bag of potatoes in the pantry too long and you come back a couple weeks later, that sour, earthy smell of rotten
kind
potatoes.
Kind of a sweet rot.
Mm-hmm. Just fills your nose. Gallerina, you're probably a good 50 feet away from these two, but your body has undergone some changes. It's harder to keep them out, though. You can still... There's still a part of you in there that still has control. You have to... It does require a great expenditure of will. The fact that you've been so close with your children this whole time is probably the only reason why you have kept your mind this long. But you're seeing Mikey looking about. He doesn't seem to notice you, at least initially. What's maybe going through your mind? The part of you that's still Gallerina. What's maybe going through her mind right now?
My children are going to meet my new friends. New friends are not my friends. They're just going to meet the new people that I met. Even though Mikey, was very keen on how I got leather for some reason.
So, Mikey, you know that smell. You've never smelled anything like that down here your entire life. There's something not right. You can't see anything, but you can smell that there's something wrong.
We need to hurry.
That's the understatement of the century. We pick up the pace.
Okay. So you approach the security checkpoint. You notice that there appear to be 4 individuals behind this fence line. It's too dark to really make out any detail other than that there are 4 humanoid figures and they are moving. That's all you can tell in the low light.
I turn my flashlight, not to shine it in these things' faces, but start kind of clicking it on and off to kind of give some sense of we are not, we're still human.
Go ahead and roll.
Try to get their attention. Nada.
Total fail?
Total fail.
No ones?
Oh, I do have a 1.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of cooperation mechanic in this game?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm going to burn my vice.
Okay. What's your vice?
My vice is that I'm compulsive.
Oh, yeah, compulsive. Okay. Or okay, what's compelling about the situation to you? Just the sheer drive to get up top?
I'm looking to try to get out of here as much as possible. I'm trying to kind of like if anybody's seen the movie The Three Amigos, I'm up on the thing just like ka-ka! Like with a flashlight though. I'm just like as loud as I can with a flashlight.
Understood.
Shining at them.
All right, go ahead and roll that 1.
At this point in time, just don't be another 1. Okay, that's a total fail.
Okay.
But no ones.
Okay. All right, so we are now on to our 5th candle. Now, before we proceed any further, This is where the game starts to shift in my favor. You are going to start losing dice quickly. Character death is now on the table. I will be forewarning you when you are going to be coming upon a fatal challenge. As much as I can. Sometimes I just take the narrative bait and just roll with it and you're just SOL. But anyways. Let's go ahead here and let's get... Our first truth is the world is dark. And the second truth is Mr. Haddonfield's.
Although there are beings across the fence, the way up is still operational.
Okay. I'm gonna narrate this truth. As Mr. Haddonfield is flicking the light, he sees that the four beings are drones, and the entire security checkpoint has been overrun with the vector. So, security checkpoint overrun.
The drones at the checkpoint respond to the mushrooms that I have.
Drones are flammable.
That is an established truth, actually.
That one's already...
That one's already established from previous games.
Okay.
The drones and the vector are both flammable. This was established in the previous game, so you do not have to waste a truth on that.
Thank you. The drones in the guard station are trapped by the guard station.
They can't... Oh! Kind of like a Walking Dead prison circumstance. I like that. I like that. Okay. And to close out the ritual, 1, 2, 3, and we
are still alive.
There we go.
Sort of.
Yes. Well, technically, Gallerina's biological functions are still sort of there.
Yeah.
Kind of. Kind of, or they're... Yeah. All right, so... Okay, let's see here. So, Mr. Haddon failed. You've taken in maybe your flash, and then you're like, oh... You hold it on a little too long, and then that's when your eyes actually realize what exactly is going on. And the drones do instinctively turn towards you, but clumsily paw at whatever gates or other means of exit they would have. They seem to be, at least so far, unable to make it out of the security checkpoint. And you actually see one impale itself on a rather large piece of vector, but it just keeps right on trucking.
I'm going to instinctively light a Molotov and throw it at that area.
5 dice.
5 dice. One 6, 0 ones.
My scene.
Enjoy.
Mikey, you see Mr. Haddonfield reach down into the bag, and he pulls out one of those Molotovs that you whipped up in the water treatment facility. Maybe sighs to himself before he lights it. But he lights it, throws his arm, or takes his arm back, throws the Molotov, and it sails through the air and it splashes in front of the security checkpoint on bare, basically deck, concrete, metal, whatever counts as the floor or road in this space here. We'll say it's tile floor. It's like nice fancy black and white tile floor. But it shatters impotently on the tile, doesn't really do much, except, it does now illuminate the area, and that's when you see the fire start to flash away the vector. It's like taking a match to flash paper. It just poof. Quick burst of flame, a little bit of oily smoke, but then it seems to basically disappear. And the drones do start to turn away from this. Now, Garalina, you see Mr. Haddonfield throw the Molotov. And okay, you know what their intentions are. What are your intentions, Gallerina, while you still can think for yourself?
Get up into the what's it called? The elevator.
The lift.
Yep.
Okay.
Without them seeing me.
Okay. Well, there's that's going to be pretty hard to do because of the fire and the ruckus and the commotion in front of the lift right now. You're basically going to have to.
I'll have to wait.
Yeah, you'll have to wait for them to do the hard work.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for them to do the hard work, and then if they fuck up, go into the lift.
Okay. All right. So, Mikey, what's going through your head? You've had a lot to process here since the water treatment plant. What's going on in Mikey's head right now?
Need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. Out. Out of here. Out of here now.
What's are you actually telling that to Mr. Haddonfield out loud?
Yes, I am telling the drunk meth head that we need to get out of here.
No shit.
So
to both.
So I started pushing him and towards the elevator because obviously these guys aren't going to shoot us for trying to get past them. So now we just move.
Mr. Haddonfield, are you intending on taking point here, or what's your agenda with all of this?
I'm in the same boat. However, I'm still taking point, but I'm keeping an eye on the drones. I now know that I've lit something on fire, which is probably going to attract more. So I'm on board to move as quick as possible. And
Mikey, you go ahead and finish. Right. You finish, and then we'll pivot over to Mikey. Sorry about that.
And I'm looking for a time where, I'm being prepared to be overrun again.
Okay. How about you, Mikey? What were you wanting to add in?
As we get closer to the elevator, I say we toss another Molotov down the boulevard, block the way for more of them to head this way. Because we know there's at least one horde of those shambling things, the drones. We don't need more of them coming this way.
I grab a Molotov and I hand it to Mikey. I light it for him.
All right, Mikey, toss that Molotov. There's five dice.
Yep. Yay. There's a 6 and a 1. And my virtue's up top, and it's watchful, so I'm going to watch what I do and try to do that again.
Okay. All right, you go ahead and burn that watchful, re-roll that 1-1.
And that turned into a 5.
So you saved the dice. But that's the important thing. So, but one success, right?
Yes.
It is your scene.
So, yeet. Molotov. Middle of the thoroughfare. Boom.
Okay. All right. So the flames, the flames spread. The drones in this in the security checkpoint. They've definitely started to overcome whatever fear they instinctively had for the fire, but they're still like, they're not going by it, but they're no longer like, recoiling. Now, in order to like try to make it safely past into the lift, it's going to require, you're going to have to, we're either going to have to go shock and awe, or we're going to have to figure some way to this lift here, guys. How are we going to go about this?
Oh, I was understanding that guards, hallway, lift.
No, the security checkpoint's like in front of the lift. Yeah. So it's set up like a barricade in front of the lift to keep people from getting to the lift. Yep.
I grab Mikey. I start charging towards the gate.
Can we climb over it? And climb over the checkpoint to get to there?
There's a lot of vector.
How much of it's been burnt away? Is there like an area that we can see that's been burnt away?
Well, it's burnt away, but there's still a fire there.
There's still fire going. Just looking for an entrance, and I'm assuming the entrance is probably where the drones are standing right now.
Fire hose. Is there a fire hose nearby?
Is there? Roll it. I see where you're going with this.
I used the wrong words.
Mm-hmm.
A 6 and a 1.
You cannot burn anything else this scene. You can only burn one a scene. It is my scene. So you do find the fire hose. And you go to turn the spigot to open it up. And you do get that huge, surge of water. You weren't prepared for the pressure, though, and the hose quickly whips out of control and starts spraying everywhere. The fire that was burning at the security checkpoint has now been doused. It did not create the chemical fire that you were hoping to cause, because God knows where that water treatment plant actually sent that water. But you do actually, as the hose is whipping about, you do actually get clocked upside the head by the nozzle, and you're sent down to the ground. So, Mr. Haddonfield, you see Mikey get pinged by this hose. What are we going to do?
So, Mikey's been pinged with the hose.
Mm-hmm.
The drones are coming. Is the security checkpoint the only place that I see the drones, or am I seeing drones kind of come from the woodwork now? No?
Just the security checkpoint.
Okay. Damn it. And I grab him, and I'm going to drag him.
Okay.
And as soon as we get close to the entrance where the drones are, I only feel it's customary. Well, I'm going to say customary. I only feel this is the right spot to bring up my brink.
Okay, so go ahead and roll to scoop up Mikey here, because I mean you got that fire.
Yeah, I got to
hose.
make sure I can do that first.
Mm-hmm.
2 success.
2
success.
It is your scene now. Your brink cannot activate until you actually need to use it. Okay, but you can.
Yes.
You're setting. I see what you're doing though. You're setting the stage. Okay. All right. So it's your scene.
I grab Mikey by the hoodie. Mikey, I'm not going to give you a chance to stand up. We're just going. We're hoofing it.
And Mikey, you get the sense of through this blooming concussion, you get the sense of being dragged, and you hear Mr. Haddonfield's voice go all Peanuts parents, but you're along for the ride, at least for now.
And we are cursing. We are at wit's end at this point in time. Like, wit's end was 2 exits ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm marching forward. I'm moving. I'm heading towards the entrance where all the drones are.
Okay. And what's your intention when you get there? Because they are not going to be in any position to do anything.
I let go of Mikey. I look at all of them. I count for a second. Mikey, sometimes you got to stick with who you live with. And I'm going to shoot Mikey in the kneecap.
Go ahead and roll.
One success.
You line up the gun. Blam! Mikey, you feel your left kneecap shatter. There is nothing but burning hot pain in your left leg. It starts at the knee and continues up. You cannot feel anything below that kneecap. And that is when Gallerina hears Bill and Ted in her head. Oh, do you see what they're doing? They've turned on each other. We would never do something like that to you, Mother. Never.
No. Should we bring them in, though? Maybe they'll help us.
Bring... that is your decision, Mother. You're the one in charge.
I'm going to get up to Mikey, because I don't know if Haddonfield has moved any further away yet. But once he leaves them, I'm going over to Mikey and just dropping spores on him.
Okay. That's your intention going forward, then. Well, okay, so... All right, Mr. Haddonfield. You've shot Mikey. Mikey, you've just been shot. What's Mikey, what's your reaction to all this here, Mikey?
A lot of pain. Just a quick ow. You dick. Just to clarify, the fire cleared off the whatever from above the guard station, mm-hmm. So we could have climbed over it to get to the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Haddonfield? Okay, so just getting that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting that out of the way. All right.
It's part of the game,
I deserve that.
Oh,
yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm not taking it personal. Mikey is.
Mikey should.
Yeah,
Mikey should definitely.
But yeah, But anyway, start crawling towards the guard station, because as far as Mikey knows, that's where safety is. That's where, as far as Mikey knows, that's the way to get to safety.
Okay. All right, so Haddonfield, you've shot Mikey. Mikey's yelling and cursing at you. What's your reaction? What are you doing to all this here?
I look at the drones since we're close by, and with one final physical force, I'm going to try to shove them towards the drones. And I don't have to be the fastest alive. I just got to be faster than Mikey.
Oh, okay. Okay, now Mikey, I'm gonna give you the opportunity here to come out of your concussed state and roll to save your life. Okay?
Yeah, I'm sure you've woken up a little bit from this. So yeah,
Mikey, you can roll to save your life.
There's 4 dice that I have to work with here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've got a hammer. If I'm going down, I'm not going down alone. I'm gonna aim for his. I'm gonna aim for him somewhere with this.
All right, swing with the hammer. 4 dice.
Well, there was 2 ones.
Okay, now. Okay.
This goes totally against my moment, and that's what I had up top. So, yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay. What's your moment again?
It was, I'll find hope when I am able to save another. So there went that.
Not right now. You can't use it right now anyway.
No.
All right. So the scene ends.
Yeah, it did.
The scene did end. All right. We are at 4 candles. Okay. All right. I'm going to say here that since Mikey was on the receiving end of that fuck you shove, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the first truth. Okay? So the world is dark. So second truth.
The world is dark, and Gallerina is in full control of herself.
Okay.
Mr. Haddonfield is making it to that elevator.
He makes it to the elevator. Okay. I'll be a nice, kind, benevolent storyteller. I will rescind my... because I would get the last truth. Gallerina, I will let you have the last truth.
The spores mixed with the vector turns the drones into something else.
I got this. Okay. We need to close out the ritual. Yep. Sorry. And 1, 2, 3, and we are still alive.
Ish.
Yeah.
You're still alive, Mikey.
Gallerina's still sort of alive.
Yep.
Kind of.
All right, so
I'm not kicking on all cylinders, but I'm moving.
Mm-hmm. So, Gallerina, you stand there, and you feel their control or guidance or whatever manifestation of their will that you want to call it. Uh-huh. You feel that slip away, and Bill and Ted seem to be more intent on watching what happens unfold. As you see Mr. Haddonfield run over to Mikey after he got laid out by that fire hose, and you heard the ping of that metal.
His head cracked.
Mm-hmm. You heard that from clear over here. You know that hurt. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he was barely conscious when Haddonfield went to grab him and haul him over to the security checkpoint. You are kind of surprised when you see Mikey try to put up a fight. And he swings wildly with the hammer. And Haddonfield almost instinctively just sidesteps it. It was such a wild, telegraphed move. Haddonfield's an expert. You can see that now, how he carries his body. He's... Maybe you had your suspicions, maybe you heard rumors about him. But you know that he's got a bad reputation, and in the Undercity, when it's nothing but you and everyone else trapped beneath the surface of the earth for decades, your reputation's the only thing that you have going for you. But Mr. Haddonfield manages to open up the gate through the opening in the vector, tosses Mikey at the two, or at the four drones, and Mikey sprawls into them. Now that Gallerina, now that you've... Maybe this is the first time in a while that you've had your mind totally to yourself. Maybe it's not. That's up to you. But now that you are no longer under their control, and you can act however you wish, what's your intention going forward?
Going after Haddonfield. Stuff a mushroom in his face.
The
spores heavy in it.
Okay. So, Mikey, you don't really feel the drones really pawing at you. The more immediate pain that you feel is the shards of vector sprouting from their body, piercing your skin. And as you're rolling, it's snapping off, and you feel it take hold, start to spread and sprout, and you start to hear them in your head as you feel control starting to slip. You will serve a great purpose, Mikey. Yes or no, Mikey?
How?
Ow.
You get flashes in your head. Complex mathematical formula that this is miles above what you ever would have studied in college or high school if you finished high school. That's all in Mikey's past. But you vaguely understand that this is these are chemical equations. You get images and flashes of weird molecular strains, stuff that you know does not come from this planet, doesn't even come from this dimension. And you see the moon exploding in a ball of nuclear fire, cracking, and the vector spreading throughout the solar system on chunks of lunar debris in the vacuum of space. And then you understand the chemical reactions behind the vector and how it works. Oh, it all makes sense. This is perfect. This is almost it's ingenious. And the fact that they played the long game to get everything to that point 20 years ago. And they are still playing the long game now. The slow march of time paired with the irrefutable, cold, hard fact of physics. Things in motion stay in motion until acted upon by an equal or opposite force. And you know that that moon debris can potentially keep going and going and going. And when beings as old as they are can afford to spend 2,000 or 3,000 years figuring out how to get back, you know that biding their time, waiting for chunks of the moon to go where it needs to go, they're patient.
You have enough drones. Make me whole and we'll work together.
You pose an interesting bargain. But you are too far gone now. We have another plan for you, if you want. And that's when you see Gallerina standing over your body. Yes or no, Mikey?
Yes.
And Gallerina, you hear Ted.
Uh-huh.
Oh, here's a perfect friend to play with.
Oh, you're right. I shake Ted at him.
And you hear Ted laugh.
Mm-hmm.
A strange, high-pitched, childish laugh. And as you shake, the cap explodes all over Mikey. Spreads all over the drones. Mikey, you start to feel the change happen. You know this was just another step in the plan. But before your vision fades to black, you hear them in your head. We have great plans, Mikey, and you are something new. And now we'll go ahead. And I completely lost track of... That was me ending a scene?
Yeah.
Was you
really
ending?
into it.
That was me ending a scene. So we are on candle 4 now, correct?
I believe so. I have 4 in front of me.
Okay.
And I turn them off when we start.
Okay.
At the end.
Okay. All right. So, Haddonfield, you are in this lift. You're by yourself. How many Molotovs do we have left? 2? 3?
We have 2 Molotovs. As I actually, as I'm making it to the lift, I see Mr. Haddonfield just lighting them and throwing them behind him. He's no longer keeping track and counts. He's just covering his tracks.
You're using rather injudicious use of those Molotovs there. I think you're gonna have to roll for that.
Gotcha.
You shouldn't be playing with fire inside.
One success.
Mm-hmm. This isn't going to change what happens to Mikey, of course, after you get out of here, but... You are throwing Molotovs. You didn't stuff that rag very tight in that last one. And you go to light it, and you go to throw it, and that's when the flaming rag makes contact with the splashing alcohol. Your throwing arm is undergoing a really nasty chemical burn right now. These were Molotovs made from those water treatment chemicals.
Yeah.
This is probably some of the worst pain that you have felt in your entire life, and it is not stopping.
I will do my best to put the fire out on my skin, but I know that the pain is going to be there.
Mm-hmm. We can say you've made it into the lift at this point in time.
That would be my moment.
Save it then. We're not out of the woods yet. We still have candles.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. Mm-hmm. Actually, I do have a little bit further that I can go. There's two parts of it. So I've passed one half of it, but I can say I'm not fully
understood.
Hit that moment yet. Okay. I am screaming and laughing at the same time. With as best as I can to hold the gun in one hand, I go to count the ammo that I have left. 4 bullets.
Sure. Why not? What's going through your head as the lift starts its climb towards Skyside?
Just give me topside. Just give me topside. Just give me topside. I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of like the scream laughing up because I hurt so bad, but I'm getting what I want.
Mm-hmm. You exit the lift into what you would assume is some sort of a lobby. You've never been on the surface before. And
everything,
the monumentous occasion is lost on you over the fact that your arm is screaming in pain. The fire is long gone, but yeah, 3rd-degree chemical burns are not pleasant. Your skin is screaming, but the lobby itself stands in stark contrast, at least as far as the architecture is concerned. Vaulted ceiling made of steel, glass. At least it would have been if it wasn't for the shards of the vector growing everywhere. It's a veritable forest. These shards stand at least 8 feet tall and are about as wide as an old 4-door car back when gasoline vehicles were still a thing. It's eerily quiet, though. You don't hear a sound. The lights are off. You wouldn't know day from night. Never seen the sun. Never seen the moon. All you know is that it's dark. You navigate your way through the forest of the Vector. And you can either go out, explore the countryside, or go up to the top of the Arco.
I'm here. Let's go up.
All right. You manage to make your way through the forest. And you get to just looking at a quick map, you see where the lift to go to, it's called the Platinum Diamond Residential Suites.
Of course it is.
Mm-hmm. But you find the lift, and the shaft, the doors are open, and you see what appears to be the broken remains of a car, crumpled like a tin can, a few floors down below you. The shaft all the way up is relatively clear. If you want to go up top, you're going to have to roll it.
Gotta try, right? Or die. Well, we can blow out another candle.
Okay. Alright, so we are now on 3. This much is true. The world is dark. Steve, Mr. Haddonfield, you're responsible for this. You get the second truth.
Mr. Haddonfield has fully lost his mind.
My truth. Mikey is still technically alive. And so he gets to participate in the ritual with everyone else. So to close out the ritual, 1, 2, 3, and we
are still
alive.
Mr. Haddonfield, you go to grab the start climbing. These aren't the traditional, the old 20th, or the old school, cable with counterweight elevators. These are monorail. They're mag lifts. Okay.
Magless.
Yeah. With no power to keep things going. God knows where that car was when the power went out. God knows how tall the Arco is. But that could be probably why it's in the shape that it is. You are looking up, and it's easy enough to make the climb up the lift rails. I mean, it was designed to be worked on in these kind of conditions anyway. Someone inside the lift or inside the shaft doing what they need to do. You do start, though, about halfway up. That's when you realize that you are so tired. And once your body gives, that last piece of you that was keeping yourself awake starts to give out as well. And so does what little remained of your sanity. I need you to roll 3 dice to make sure that you don't fall down the lift.
One success. 2, a 3, a 6.
How? It is your scene.
I find myself reaching with my burned arm as I'm barely awake, and it sends a shock of pain through my body and jolts me. I have worked everything in that underworld to get where I'm going right now. The bodies that I piled up, the organs that I've transported, the things that I've had to do have accumulated for me to go up here. I start climbing until I get to what I assume to be the last entrance.
The very top.
The very top. And I will attempt, I'm guessing the doors are closed.
Mm-hmm.
I will attempt to open the doors.
Okay. As you're starting to do that, do you hear is that a ding from the lift down in the lobby? Maybe? Who knows? Roll me 3 dice.
Nothing.
This much is true. The world is dark. Steve?
Mr. Haddonfield will not make it to 1 candle.
Okay. The doors will not give. It's been so long. The doors will not open.
He looks below him. He sees how far the drop is. Well, I gave it a good run.
The vertigo slams into your gut before you even feel your feet leave the ledge. Maybe there's a sense of tranquility towards the end. Or maybe his mind just was too far gone. And he doesn't even comprehend what he just did until it's too late. Mikey and Gallerina. You hear a loud thud come from an elevator shaft not too far away. Go see him.
Yeah, walk over.
And Mikey, you're in there. You probably, the part of you that's still Mikey maybe has the same we'll say intellectual depth as a pocket calculator, but he's in there somewhere. But the two of you creep and crawl and spread your way over to the twisted, mangled pulp of bone and sinew and flesh and muscle and blood that's sitting at the bottom of this elevator shaft.
Mother, is this too late to be of use?
I think we could use that to help with the feeding of...
Will this work for Bill?
This will work for Bill. I think so. Maybe. We'll see what we can build with it. Or with.
And that is where we will end this episode of 10 Candles. So I'd like to thank the cast for sticking through this. I had fun with this one. This was a blast. I had fun, guys.
You're welcome.
That was a pretty fun one.
Did not expect that.
And you see, I was always kind of like, 10 Candles. Oh, I gotta make people cry. This was fun. This was a jaunt.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes. So we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye with everybody here. We're gonna go ahead. We're just gonna do the same way that we did at the intro, starting with Steve.
Hi, everybody. My name is Steven Rieger. I'm playing the pile of goo at the bottom of the elevator shaft, Mr. Haddonfield. I am a creative partner with Martlet Games. I know this is going to be coming out around our November, December, so just keep an eye open for everything that's coming out. We should have a good line for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you, if you didn't see anything before us, make sure to catch the VOD. And if you're catching this live, make sure you catch the next two, because I want to see what we've done to them.
Sorry, not sorry with that at all.
Next up for his first outro on his first stream is Justin.
Hey, I'm Justin. I played Mikey, Ted piloting Mikey, I guess. It was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for the chance to play with you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You are more than welcome, and you are not going to be a stranger around these parts. This was a blast, and I've always been saying I need to get Justin on for something, and we just never could make it work. And then this was like, you know what? I got a wild hair at my ass. We're gonna do 10 Candles. I've got a spot,
and it was a lot of fun.
Thank you for tagging along. This was nice. And finally, to take us all home, at least for as far as the cast is concerned, is Kat.
I'm Kat. I played Gallerina, the Spore Overlord. I don't know, by this time, I don't know if you're going to be airing the Hakata game or not.
There will be some overlap. You can definitely... The VOD will definitely be up somewhere.
Yeah.
And there might be an episode or two left. I don't know.
Upcoming Hakata game with Martlet Games. You also may have seen me in a very weird Vampire the Masquerade game that involved Dungeons and Dragons with Vancouver by Night. You can find me as Dead and Glow on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram.
Excellent. And I was Patrick Gill, creative director at Martlet Games. Once again, thanks to my wonderful cast. Thanks to everyone who's come before, and thanks for everyone who is yet to come. Phrasing. We've got our Cult of the Blood Gods game going on with the Onyx Path Twitch channel. We've got the Hakata game, as mentioned. I'm in Vancouver adjacent by night, where I play Harley, the Misery Dog Nosferatu Primogen / Sabat Pack Priest / yeah, if you're behind...
What doesn't he do?
He's the Swiss Army knife of the 5 Cs. But, yeah, just keep an eye out. All sorts of things happening. You'll probably be seeing or hearing mutterings of all sorts of other various things that are going to be kicking off by the time you all see this. But thank you all. Love you. Good night.